how to share your faith. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Give us a like if you like the content. You can also check out our other videos on the Seal of God Network on Facebook, other channels like Bible Flockbox, Dot School for Prophets TV, Little Lambs Follows, and Good Purpose. Don't forget to like us on Facebook at the Seal of God Network, as well as the Watchers for Christ. And if you like this page, you can always subscribe and give this video a like. Well, I want to talk to everyone about how can we share our faith? How to share your faith. The simplest thing, the best way, and the easiest way is to copy Christ. Christ had the perfect and has the perfect formula in being able to share what you believe with others. It's not simply revolved around in doing Bible studies or just handing out biblical literature or even making YouTube videos, even though this is a part of it. Now, don't get me wrong, we appreciate you guys watching our videos, sharing these videos, and doing the studies with us, and doing live Q&A on many channels. It's a great source for knowledge and wisdom. But the best way to actually share your faith personally is to desire others good. And what I mean by that is, when Christ was on the earth, Christ dwelt among people as one that desired their good. That simply means that he cared about their well-being. He was interested in them. He was concerned about their lives. He was worried about the things that they were going through. He heard their pains, their concerns. He sat and he ate with them. He laughed with them. He cried with them. If they were hungry, he fed them. If they were sick, he healed them. He desired their good. Sharing scripture, sadly, even with most Christians, or many Christians, and I myself have fallen victim to this at some times in the past. We feel that simply sharing scripture and giving people Bible tracts is all that there is to it. But it isn't. Because if you read in John chapter 1, verse 14, it says, "And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. And we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth." It wasn't good enough for God to simply give us scripture. God has always desired to dwell among us. Even in the book of Exodus, chapter 25, around verse 8, it said, "And let them make unto me a sanctuary so that I may dwell among them." Because God desires our good. Yes, he wants us to know the truth, but he desires better for us, because he is better for us. He is truth. He wants to have an intimate and personal relationship with each of us. And that's the same thing that we should want when it comes to sharing our faith with others. Not simply just a platonic, on the surface, this is God, this is what you should believe, this is what I believe, we're done. And this is one of the reasons why so many people leave churches, or they leave the congregation of followers of Christ or fellow worshipers of Christ. It's because there's no intermingling. There's no personal relationship or personal growth. That's how we elevate one another to God. When we dwell among one another, desiring one another's well-being, not simply just to proselytize or evangelize or to give people the word and leave them there. If I was giving Bible studies and I went into a home and I seen that the family was devoid of basic things like food and proper clothing, would I really be desiring their good if I simply gave them a Bible study, told them about all the goodness of God, had the means to provide them food and proper clothes, but I left and I said that I gave them what they needed. True enough, I did give them the spiritual food. But what about the physical needs? I'm not really desiring the whole well-being of my brother or my sister if I don't desire their full good. We have to seek one another's well-being. That's what God wants. That's what he desires for his people. That's how we share our faith. When you see someone hungry, if you have the means, feed them. People are more drawn to those who are kind and loving and who care about them than people who present a stiff, firm front, being blunt and brutish. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be blunt on truth, because we should be firm and rooted in the truth, because a tree will be knocked over if its roots aren't deeply planted. When winds come and the strifes of life push against it, that tree will fall over if it's not firmly supplanted, especially on the rock. But we ought to show and care for people. Christ himself says that they shall know that you are my disciples by the love you have for one another. It's not simply enough to give people scripture and to do studies with people if you're not willing enough to desire someone's good. In a lot of cases, we as people have been ignorant to this, and as a result, it has come back and been a negative impact, because we haven't dwelled among people more so, because some people do. We haven't dwelled among people more so. And we ought to dwell among one another and desire one another's good, so that we can actually help uplift people to the throne of grace and to pray for them and to bring people out of the captivity of sin by desiring their good and not just preaching at them and preaching to them, but actually desiring their good, much like Christ desires ours. I desire to never, by God's grace, I hope to never do that again, and I pray the same for you. Desire one another's well-being. Desire one another's good. Not simply to just, here's God, you've been warned. No. Care about a person well enough, or care about a person more, that you wouldn't want to see anything bad happen to them, just like you wouldn't want to see anything bad happen to yourself. Care about people that way. The world is ending. Care enough to love them, to let God shine through you, so that they can see. I'm doing good. How are you? So that they can see the difference that he makes when you're doing nice things, when you're helping them, and they ask you, why do you do what you do? Because God sent his son to die for me, because this world's going to end one day, and he wants to save me and you from it. Would you like to do a Bible study? God bless you, my friends. That truth is stranger than fiction, and no matter whether or not you like it, it always stays true. Be blessed, because it's time to wake up.